Hey there. So I'd like this post to be maybe the first in a series of posts that I'll probably call something like Shades of Loneliness. And what I would like to maybe get across in these posts is the fact that loneliness shows up in different ways across different experiences that we go through. It's a part of many experiences that we go through. It's not the sole part, but it's a component part of many of the experiences that we go through in life. But it doesn't show up in the same way, and it looks different and feels different and has a unique, distinct shade depending on the experience that we're going through. And this particular post, I want to talk about the way that loneliness shows up in heartbreak and grief, which is a very, very common experience in most of our lives. At some point, I think we're all going to go through an experience of having our heart broken and of losing somebody that we loved deeply. And that experience of grief and or heartbreak brings with it unique shades of loneliness. The loneliness takes on and has a particular kind of flavor to it. And it can be useful and soothing and just helpful sometimes to reflect on what that is. So in this particular video, that's what I want to talk about. Now, what might be unique about the loneliness of heartbreak and grief? Well, for one thing, in heartbreak and grief, when we lose a relationship or a love that we had and shared and constructed with somebody else that we loved deeply, there is a kind of collapse of something. There's the loss of something that has never existed before and will never exist again. It's like it's got a kind of unique coordinate or reference point to it, simply in the sense that the love that you had with that person was something that only you two could create by virtue of the fact that you are unique people. And the love that you created is so unique, which sounds strange to say when you think that of how many billions and billions of people there are and have been and will be in the future. But there has never been the love that you have lost before, and there never will be again after. It's like a unique snowflake, and it's never before or never will again after be experienced. So the thing that you've lost is so unique that nobody else can ever really know what it's like to lose that. Yes, they can know what it's like to lose their own unique loves, but they can't know what it's like to lose what you've lost. And there's something really lonely and sort of alienating about that. Nobody can really know what it's like. And so when people sometimes say, I know how you feel when you're grieving or when you're heartbroken, they say it with good intent. But when they say that, they often they don't know, in the sense that nobody ever can know what you've lost because only you and your love knew that and understood that and had been in that coordinate or that spot of the desert or that spot in the ocean. Nobody else can ever go there by virtue of the fact that it's unique. It's created between two unique souls. So that's very lonely, and very alienating, and it really forces you to confront the fact that sometimes there are some things that you are completely alone in. Nobody else can ever know or empathize completely with that. Doesn't mean they can't care about you or support you, but they can't know what you've lost. And it will never be recreated and has never been created before in the past. So, and that makes love very beautiful, right? It's a very beautiful in the sense that you've really painted this abstract painting or constructed this abstract relationship between you that can never be replicated again. But losing it has a particular kind of bitterness to it because of that. Secondly, I think it can be really, really lonely in loneliness senses for grief and heartbreak, because something collapses when a relationship ends that reflects who you were with that partner. You were a version of yourself with them that you can't continue to be completely, because you guys kind of grew together a bit like two trees that shape themselves around each other. And you take a particular shape and identity and role with that person. You're a particular person when you're with them. You're a particular person for them that you won't be able to be without them so easily. So on some level, you there's a sort of psychological order that collapses, and like a temple that collapses and can't be occupied anymore. And I think that that can be very lonely in the sense that you are unplugged from something that you were once plugged into, and you're not immediately going to replug into something without changing shape or working out a new identity or working out who you're going to be in this world without that person. And that requires a period of transition that can be very lonely and can feel like you're kind of in a wilderness, waiting to waiting for maybe the universe and for just nature to take its course, and for your shape to change, your identity to change, your roles to change, who you're going to be in the world without them to emerge. And that also can be a very, very lonely time when you realize, yeah, that the whole psychological structure and order for you has collapsed in the in the aftermath of that grief and that heartbreak. So these are the reasons why I think that loneliness and heartbreak can be particularly, sorry, not loneliness and heartbreak, grief and heartbreak can be particularly challenging experiences.